Bakotunes Radio.
It's time for a change. It's time
You
for
already
real talk.
know it's real talk. It's real talk.
People, community.
Impact.
It's real talk.
You already know it's real talk.
It's the best show in town. You know, it's real talk.
It's time for real talk.
This ain't your typical talk show. It's real talk.
It's time for Real Talk on Forge 103.9, a new sound.
Forge 103.9, a new sound. This is Real Talk, and we've been, hinting at this amazing guest who's a Bakersfield native all morning, haven't we, Andres?
Absolutely. We're, when Matt brought it up and he was like, "Yo, we can get this guy on. Have you seen Gentefied?" I was like, "Yeah, I've seen Gentefied. What are you talking about?" He was like, I think we can get him. I've interviewed him before. I'm going to let Matt do the introduction here because you have a longer history than we do.
Yeah, we are very lucky to be able to have one of the co-creators and director of the Netflix show Gentefied, which is currently airing on Netflix. He's a Bakersfield native, and I've over the past couple of years, I've had an opportunity to interview him following the season 1 premiere on Netflix, and they're very lucky. We're very fortunate and lucky that the show is back for a second season. It's currently airing on Netflix, and we are very honored to welcome to Real Talk Mr. Marvin Lemus.
No one else is going to clap for our guest? Man.
I could go on with the intros, but let's get him on the show. How you doing, Marvin?
I'm doing well, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Marvin, I've seen you've been making the media circuit. I'm sure this time of year and kind of launch of the season, you're going 100 miles an hour.
Things have been a little all over the place. It's like it comes and goes in waves. So it's definitely busy. I just took a couple days off because last week we dropped the show and I was just like, things are crazy. And I told everybody, I was like, you guys, I need a couple days to recharge before I go at it again. So it's been, I'm fortunate enough that I was, had a little window that I could just kind of rest.
Well, it's no time for rest.
Yeah.
And we woke you up in the middle of your nap, so we apologize for that. But hey, one of the things that we saw on your Instagram and really everything that we see with you is the 3 words Etro and Bakersfield. You're a Bakersfield native and you're damn proud of it too. And there's a lot of people who are always like, I'm trying to get out of Bakersfield this, Bakersfield that. Let me ask you, were you always this proud to be from Bakersfield, or is this recently found?
Oh yeah. Oh hell no. I definitely was not always this proud. And even now it's like a complicated relationship, I would say, with Bakersfield. Bakersfield made me. It's coming to terms. It's even just, I really honestly making this show is a huge part of healing for me, of healing not just Bakersfield, but my own identity as a Latino, as a Mexican American, as a Chicano. I grew up ashamed of being brown, of my mom's accent. I didn't want to be Mexican because everything I would see on TV, my parents came here, they remind you of all the sacrifice and they tell you you're going to chase that American dream and all the opportunities that you're going to have. And then I would watch, the TV, and I was like, okay, everything that they want from me, it seems like it's not possible. It seems like in order to achieve this American dream, I have to be white. And because the people that look like me are on TV and in the movies are the butt of the joke. They're a stereotype. They're a criminal. They're bad guys. And it just feels, it turns into a self-loathing, a self-hate of who you are and making you feel like there's something wrong with you, right? And so I'm getting into the heaviness of it right away because that's just how I roll.
Yeah.
But,
and we have that on there. We want to touch on that a little later. But
absolutely.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. No, but I'll just say so the show has helped heal such a big part of that for me. And I remember for sure before making the first season being Bakersfield, whatever. And then after it was just I had in the first season, especially, there's all these jokes about Bakersfield because that's just my love language. We grew up just, that's how you with the people closest to you, you talk smack. Yeah. And And so we put all those jokes in there because I just wanted to put as many references as I could in the way that I know how. And at the end of it, I was just like, yo, like I love Bakersfield. It's so complicated, but it's like I wouldn't be who I am without it.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't be who I am without, you know, growing up there and the family that I have there. And yeah, it's I think it's in the similar vein of just kind of coming back to loving yourself, loving who you are and where you come from.
You still have family in Bakersfield?
100%, yeah. All my family, my mom, my brother, my abuela, all my cousins.
My cousins who drink Modelo's every weekend.
Oh yeah.
Do they have a fan club for you here? Do they have?
You know what? I don't think so. I'm like I keep hitting them up. I'm like, hey, have you watched it yet? And it's just like, yeah, it's just, I got busy. I was like, they were like, I'm busy. I was watching the new Fast and the Furious.
Oh, they're gonna be like the typical like, what? If I watch, you're gonna think you're all bad now or what?
All bad? Yeah, exactly.
All bad. Exactly. They're like, oh, Hollywood over here.
Oh.
Look at you though, you know.
Scorsese.
No, they love the show. They've been getting texts all week. Like it's been so awesome, especially this season. I feel like everybody has, you know, this season we went into it way more raw. It was just more grounded. We were speaking from the heart in a huge way. I mean, first season we put a lot of love into it, but this season we're speaking from the heart, and I've been getting a lot of, you know, the family's been reaching out and just like letting me know que andan chillando, you know, that they're crying at the end of every episode, and it's been good. It's been good. I'm happy to hear it.
Did they get to watch it before anyone else, or did they have to wait?
They had to wait.
Oh,
nobody gets no.
Not even a bootleg or nothing over there sent over there like a DVD.
You know what's terrible? It's like they're gonna be salty when they hear this, but I actually it's because I'm in LA and I end up with my partner, my fiance's family. I end up hanging out with her family a little bit more often. Yeah. And so for her dad's birthday a few months ago, I let them watch early cuts because they're such huge fans of the show. So they got to see early cuts, but my family didn't. But pero my mom and my grandma are in the show. My mom and my grandma.
Okay.
So they got to come visit. They got to be on set. My grandma got to be there. She got to meet Joaquin Cosio. Like took pictures.
Oh no.
She does it shamelessly. Shamelessly. She's like, Mr. Cochiloco, please can I get a picture?
And they're like, hey, ¿dónde está craft services?
She didn't care. She was so funny. I kept getting all these stories. Like the other actors, I was directing. So I put them in my episode. In the episode 7, there's like this huge speech that Pops gives at the end of the episode. And during it, we cut away to portraits of, I wanted to put real immigrants in front of the camera. And I was just like, well, let me put my parents, let me put my grandma and my mom, like the immigrants that made me, that raised me, that who I'm writing and making the story for. Right. So, but anyways, my grandma shows up and has like on her phone, she has all these baby pictures of me, and she was just being a grandma about it and showing everybody that would listen, just showing them baby pictures of me. She's like, "This is Brian." Yeah. So it was very cute, very sweet, and she was just, I could just tell they were just very proud. So yeah, so they got to be in the season, especially, which was very difficult because we could not have any visitors because of the COVID of it all.
But you know, you do have to take care of the future in-laws. You do. That's just because we know. Like
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. It's a tough balance, right?
Yeah. Hey, you know,
complicated.
100%.
Before we wrap up the segment,
especially.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, especially because, like, no shade. Like, I love my grandma. My mom doesn't like cooking, and her family, my girlfriend's family, like, they used to own a family business. Like, they're all cooks. Yeah. So like, they take care of me. You know, like I'm just like, well, they're coming through with that stuffing. Like,
like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, they're gonna hold it ransom. No
like, grandma, they make brisket.
Dame el episode. Yeah.
Hey, you know, you've been talking about your mom a bit. You know, our sister stations like Campesina here, they're in Spanish radio, but we did some research and we saw that your mom, you know, kind of had a career in Spanish radio for a bit.
Yeah, she was. I mean, started in Bakersfield and everything, and worked her way all the way. Like, we grew up moving a lot, so I claim Bakersfield, but I moved a lot, and it was because of my mom, who was like building her career. And so we lived in like Las Vegas, and then I lived in Boise, Idaho, which is why Chris in the show is from Idaho, because I lived in Idaho for a little bit, and LA, parts of LA. So like I can't remember what station my mom started at, but
she was True Radio. She was True Radio.
She was real radio back in the day. I don't remember what station, but all Spanish language. And then by the time I was in high school, she was on K-Love in LA, and so like I've grown up in radio stations my whole life.
That was like in radio's heyday
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
That's when it was.
Yeah,
like,
that was
like we're kind of on the decline right now. But whoa. This is when radio was.
We're
like,
bringing it back. We're bringing it back.
bringing
See,
it
Marvin's
back. This is-
Marvin's appearance is going to help
like,
us.
like vinyl records. We're bringing radio back.
I feel like it really had, you joke about it, but I remember my mom, like, especially around, like, Napster and everything, like, radio was, like, they were terrified. I remember it was like, yo, what's going to happen? And, like, it really has held on in a way that I really thought, I was like, oh, my mom's not going to have a career much longer. And, but the resurgence of, like, radio has held on so strong, and it's made me so happy, because I'm like, I grew up in it. I love it. It's such a comfort. And so I really do feel like it's one of those things that just like it just won't die.
Yeah. What's your mom's name?
On air, she went by Grecia Lemus. It was her. Yes, I won't say her real name. Out of just respect.
Matt's trying to dox her on air.
Well, Grecia, we're very proud of your son. I know she's listening.
We got to pay some bills before all of you guys get us canceled on air, right? Talking about the decline of radio. So you don't want to turn that down. We have more with Marvin coming up. This is Real Talk on Forge 103.9, a new sound. Forge 103.9, a new sound. This is Real Talk, and we are back with an incredible guest from Bakersfield, don't we, Matt?
Yes, we do. We have Mr. Marvin Lemus, who is the co-creator and director of Gentefied on Netflix. Season 2, baby.
Season 2.
Yes.
You know what's so funny is I skipped the ending of season 2, and I tried to tell Matt, like, do you want to know what it's about? Like, he's like, nope, this is one show I don't want you to tell me. That's just the problem.
You know what's funny is that this morning I have my weekly call that I do every Wednesday, our COVID call, and so we're on the call, and this is with folks from all throughout the country, and I mentioned, hey, by the way, I'm interviewing the co-creator of Gentefied, and everybody just went nuts. They're like, what? I love that show. Oh my God, that grandpa reminds me of my tata. Like, and they're getting all emotional in the call and everything. And I was like, I'll take a picture somehow. We'll send you some stuff. Like,
yeah.
And they're like, we need to invite him to our events. So Marvin, you're not getting too far away from us.
That response anytime you bring up Gentefied, that's the response. Like, oh my God, I love that show. I love that show. I love that show. And they're like, fun fact, do you know the guys from Bakersfield? Ha. And they're like, no way. And then there goes. It's a great conversation.
It really is. I was walking my dog the other day with my girlfriend. I was like, we're gonna interview her, and then she started raving about the show and talking about you so much. Like, hey, we got to calm this down. No. The show's not that great, okay? We need to reel this back.
So are you gonna meet him?
No, it's just one of those, right?
Hey, Marvin, but so you said you kind of bounced around quite a bit, and then you ended up going to school in Los Angeles, correct? For college at the Arts Institute.
Yeah, I went to AI for college, which is it's like a trade school. My campus doesn't exist anymore. It was like the ITT Tech of Art Schools is what I like to call it.
Oh yeah.
But I was very fortunate. We had a great faculty, and a lot of the teachers there that they were just amazing filmmakers, and I got to learn a lot of the gear, and it set me it was very technical. It wasn't a lot of artsy fartsy conversations the way you think of film schools where you're watching movies and just talking about it for hours. We're no, here's how you turn on the lights, here's how you rig it, here's how you fix it. I remember I had to get a tool bag, and I was like, oh, okay. And I went and I got a tool bag, and I ended up building up my toolkit for 3 years. And I had all this massive toolkit that got stolen out of my car once. Anyway, but
that's your LA baptism, though. One of your LA baptisms is to get ripped off, right?
Is. It was the worst, bro. I spent so much time putting that thing together, and then I ended up now I still just have a screwdriver and a hammer somewhere.
It's somewhere over there, right?
It's somewhere over there.
So you were just getting your hands dirty there, just kind of learning all the equipment, and was there much were you guys exploring the creative side of making art and film, or not so much?
No, I was. It was great. It really worked for me because I'm a very hands-on person. I'm very I just whenever I'm learning something new, I'm just stop talking and telling me let me just do it a few times and I'll figure it out. Give me the gist of it and then I'll let me jump in. And so it really worked because I was shooting constantly. I remember I had a camera in my hands from the first week, and I've been a film. I've been a filmmaker for a long time. Like I have been obsessed with directing since I was 8 years old. I was just a storyteller and I loved books. And at 8, I rediscovered the camera and was always begging my mom for cameras for so long. And then it wasn't until like in high school when she could finally afford to actually get me a camera. And so I was shooting shorts all the time. And then, and being in school, like it was great. I just got to shoot all the time. Like I was just shooting and just learning it by doing it. And yeah, that was kind of the process for me. I'm trying to like not go on forever and ever and be like super long-winded, but that's kind of that's what that school was for me, was really letting me just get down and dirty and learn every job, which really is what I wanted, because my hero still is very much to this day, Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
He was like, he's the only, he was the only Latino filmmaker, like the only like US born Latino director in the game. And I was just obsessed with his stuff. And like he practiced what he preached. And his whole philosophy was just like, just pick up a camera and go, you know, and he made it seem so possible, because if it wasn't for him, it would just seem like the most daunting thing. Like it would just seem impossible to be considering a career in this, you know?
You were fortunate to be able to, like, the digital age of cameras. So it became much more easier to produce. Like if you wanted to experiment with shorts, right? It wasn't just, you didn't have to go to like buy a bunch of, physical film.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, my degree was in digital filmmaking. Actually, it was all digital. I've never worked on. I shoot film photography, but I've never shot anything on film.
Yeah. Marvin. Before we end this break, you brought up Robert Rodriguez, right? And then you said something that was kind of really really important to me that I want to like touch on really quick, right? You said the only American born, right? Do you hold that with you really hard? Because when you talk about bringing your parents and your mom and your grandmother onto set to have like a real immigrant, right? Do you feel like it's still like a weird identity that you're a Mexican American trying to pursue these things, because it's different, right? There's a different identity for people who are Mexican but born in America.
Right. No, it is. I think it's a very specific and very important distinction. I think especially, even just a few years ago, and still to this day, the numbers of like Latinos working in this business and being in front of the camera and behind the camera, like, are so insanely low. And even when you do count those, like the filmmakers that you see, the Latino directors, like a lot of them are from Latin America, and which is amazing. But the reality is, if you're from Latin America working in this industry, if you're a filmmaker coming from there, the chances are very high that you're coming from money. That you're coming from a very highly educated background, because being able to be a filmmaker in a country in Latin America is an insane privilege compared to La Gente that I come from, which is my family that came here just to be able to work, just like trying to be able to feed their families. Like, in a lot of ways, there's just such a distinction. It's a class thing at the end of the day. And I think that we all get Latino identity, we all get grouped into one big, box. But there are so many different distinctions. It's like not just the countries that we come from, but then there's also the class differences. Yeah. And I do think that the U.S. born Latino story and identity is a very specific, a specific story and a specific upbringing. And I think one that, warrants being talked about and explored more.
Absolutely.
We've looked, and I've kind of like done some reading on this stuff, and I've even talked to folks about this. But like being a Mexican American, for example, in Mexico, when we go over there, they're like pocho, like, you know what I mean, like they're not totally accepted there. And then even here in America, they're like, no, you're not American, you're Mexican. Like there's a very, know what I mean, like you're not. And when they say you're not American, they're really saying you're not white. So the thing is like, I think a lot of us Chicanos, Mexican Americans, we're kind of straddling both worlds, trying to figure out
where is the scene from Selena with Edward James Olmos when Selena goes to Mexico for the first time.
Pretty much, that's the experience of us here in the United States and in Mexico, right?
Absolutely.
You listen to Real Talk on Forge 103.9, a new sound. Forge 103.9 New Sound. This is Real Talk, and we are back with Marvin Lemus, who's from Bakersfield, who has been doing an incredible thing with launching and co-writing Gentefied on Netflix that just launched their second season last week, and we've all been watching it, and we're just so honored and grateful to have you on. But Andres, I know you had a question, right?
Yeah, I mean, we just been talking a little bit about the Latino experience here in America, and I want to talk with you a little bit more about Latinos in Hollywood, Latinos in film. And kind of where do you think the current state is at? I mean, I'm sure we're not where it needs to be, right? But what do you think the current state is, and what's your role to kind of expanding opportunities and avenues for more people who look like all of us here in this call to begin to kind of enter that space?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting better. I had a moment just like a week or two ago where we were starting to do promos for the show, and I was just realizing, I'm like, we had our premiere, and then the night before there was a premiere for Ida Rodriguez, her new stand-up, and then Head of the Class on HBO, and what else? And then I know With Love, which is Gloria Calderon-Colette's show, is coming out on Amazon next month. Like, there's a lot. Like, because when we dropped the first season, there was like 2, maybe 3 shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and like a bunch of them were on Netflix, and so it was wild to like realize, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of stuff coming out. There's a lot more, like Latinx led shows coming out, and it's amazing to see. Pero it's still, there's still so much work. And I think at the end of the day, I think like, for me, I get so frustrated because I'm like, we get so often, I feel like we're treated like it's all one big genre. We're already lumped them as one big thing, right? And Latinos, Latinx, all that. And I feel like all our shows are treated like they're like a similar thing. And I'm like, yo, like they're so different. Like, you don't compare something like Game of Thrones and Broad City, like just because they're white folks in it, And so it's like, so what I want to see and where I want to get to is like, I'm like, what I'm excited about is so when we get to the point where there's films and there's TV shows that are just in various genres that are created by and led and starring Latinos, that are in different genres, that like I want to see like the thrillers, I want to see the horror movies and the hard comedies, of like the Judd Apatow style R-rated comedies and the rom-coms and the like the indie films. Like, I mean, for me, I'm just a film nerd and I just love me some indie films, and like I just want to see that variety of genres, told by storytellers that look like me. That's what I feel, where I hope and I think we're moving, but it's kind of slow going. It's just a little bit, we're everybody that I know, all the Latino, like, filmmakers and writers and everybody, like everybody's constantly talking and trying to like kind of band together and figure out like, yo, how do we do this? Like, how do we continue to push and build and move the needle? And it's a lot of work, but I think we're seeing a little bit of the fruits of the labor over the last couple of years. We're starting to see it. So I'm very hopeful for where we're going.
Oh yeah. And one of the things we talk about representations, when you talk about the casting of Gentefied, is that you start to see some new faces, Latino actors, or maybe they've been in other shows, but we're finally starting to see them speak, because we see a lot of, oh, I've seen that person, maybe some other shows, but that we actually get to hear them talk. And so there's a voice to the place, and you get to see their personality and actually see their skills being used, their talents come out, and you're just discovering all these new faces. And so I go on these deep dives when I discover shows like Gentefied, and I see these faces. I want to find out everything that this particular actor's done. I go on their IMDb, and you look about it. Some of them have some short IMDbs, other have some long ones, but they're all very bit parts until they get to Gentefied.
Yep.
So that is awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think it's, I mean, Linda and I, like my co-creator, my co-writer, we went into it just trying to write the world that we come from, that we live in, and to just see the wide array of gente that we know, like, because I feel like we tend to be, like you're mentioning, like if we're in it, there's one, maybe 2 of us in something, and sometimes it's very stereotypical, and we wanted to see that. We wanted to be able to see like our entire family. We wanted to see like the chipsters, the Chicano hipsters, and the old, the older generation, but and all the different variety, like the tios and the tias and the abuelos and the there's the mechanic, and then there's the veteranos, and like we wanted to just fill out the world, which is why the original iteration of the show was a digital series that was an anthology, meaning every episode was its own little story. And we just did that because we were just like, I was like, well, we're getting a budget. Let's just like make every possible character that we would love to have seen growing up. And we did the one about the mariachi and one about the Maryland.
And then I do remember watching some of those webisodes that there are some of the actors that I've seen in other shows. I say, wow, so maybe they can trace their like early beginnings to the Gentefied webisode, and that helped them do some good. So you obviously have a lot of good karma coming your way for a lot of careers that you've kind of helped jumpstart.
Marvin.
I hope.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, you said.
No, I was just gonna say. I was just gonna say. I hope so. I think it has been. It's been fun to see people continuing to go, and I'm like just now seeing more announcements from the cast from Gentefied, like, and all the cool stuff that they're doing, and I'm just really excited to see them doing all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm. So Marvin, we're talking about people who are coming up who aren't necessarily, the biggest and most well-known actors, Latinos, Latinas, right? Do you feel like as someone who's kind of like leading this charge in the film industry right now, it's kind of your responsibility to bring people who look like you up?
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, I guess I don't think of it that way necessarily. I think of it as like, I'm trying to I can only tell stories from one perspective, which is mine, the way I grew up, and like, and also the ones that are interesting to me. Right. And right now, it just so happens to be that like I very much am very excited about being able to fill this void of seeing, of telling stories of people that look like me and that reflect my community and where I grew up, and because I just feel like there's just so many amazing, beautiful, gente, weird, crazy, wild, like interesting, entertaining characters that like are in my neighborhoods, that we never get to see their story told. And so I think of it as in terms of like just wanting to like what shows, what movies, what stories do I want to tell right now? And it just so happens that like, I'm going to fill it out with as many Latinos as I can. And I tend to go into it very much thinking about like, I do have a why not kind of sensibility when it comes to casting. Like even America, who in the digital series, she was in one of the episodes.
America Ferrera.
When she was like, America Ferrera, yes, I'm sorry. America Ferrera, who's one of our executive producers on the show. She's directed a bunch of the episodes this season and last, and is an incredible filmmaker herself. But when we first were approached by her and we were bringing her on to be an executive producer on the digital series, we wanted to offer her a part. We're like, if you're down, like we'd love to have you in the digital series. But I had finished like almost casting everybody. And we're like, okay, who can she play? And we're like, gosh, there's no more females left. And then I looked and there was this one big male character that we hadn't cast yet. It was an important character. And I was just like, why not this guy? Why not let her be this character that was written for a man? His name's Andy. That's easily a woman's name. And there's nothing about the story that doesn't work if it's a female or a male. Mm-hmm. Like, why not just let, and she was down and she did it and it was awesome. And I think we do that a lot throughout the casting process. I'm always just trying to think of like, why not this person? Like, could it be this person? Like, what if we switch it up to, maybe they're Black, maybe they're Asian. What if it's a female, it's a male, or maybe it's like, just to keep it open, because I feel like this industry has like these blinders on, and it's just like, unless it's specified or it has to be like, we're not let in, and not just Latinos, but just like, people of color, everybody that's on the margins, like we're not let in because unless there's something very specific that they need us for, versus letting be like, there's a lawyer. Yeah, exactly. If there's a lowrider scene. Honest, bro. No, you say there was even in first season, people didn't notice it. They didn't catch it because he had hair. So the guy that plays Hector and everything, the guy, if you look it up, he plays Hector, like that actor. His name is, I'm blanking on the name. I apologize. I feel terrible, but there was in the first season, Lydia, who plays the college professor, the girlfriend to Eric. Yeah, she has a meeting with one of her somebody that she works with at the school, and I was like, we're gonna cast him because he always plays the cholo, and we're gonna have him be. It's East LA. They work at East LA College. Like, let him be the professor, and he came in and he did it. And he was great. But I remember when I got to set and I saw him, he had a full head of hair. Because he's usually bald and everybody recognizes him when he's bald. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, nobody's going to recognize him because he has hair. But it worked out. But we had him in there. And it was just that kind of thinking of just like, Yeah, he has like that cholo, like that vato vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
wait, is it Noel?
Noel Guglielmi?
Noel Albert Guglielmi. Yeah, he is the official cholo of Hollywood.
Yeah.
He's the cholo and everything. He plays Hector and everything. He has so many Hector.
That's
literally
hilarious.
like
okay.
When you Google Hector in every movie, it's him. It comes up like literally.
Yeah, if you go to his film discography or whatever, or filmography.
Yes.
Sorry, it shows Hector like completely on all.
It's even in the dictionary.
My God, always. And
hey, why is Hector a cholo name though? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I'm like, cholos have a lot of names.
I know.
Scary, a lot of Smiley.
Yeah.
A lot of names.
Hector. It sounds good when you yell it. That's why Hector.
Yeah, my name's Hector. You know, because you can kind of.
Yeah. If someone comes up to me like, go ahead, Martin.
I was just gonna say, it was just that thinking. We have that why not thinking of just like, it's like, why wouldn't somebody who could be like, oh, maybe he does have a history where he like was gang adjacent, or just kind of a homie from the block, but like he's a professor now. Like he works at the college, and that's what he does. Because I've been at ELEC, my girlfriend has worked there, and I go walk around, and I'm like, there's the homies with the Aslan ponytail, like the all the way down their butt.
Oh,
and,
yes.
And I'm like, oh, these professors, I feel like if I got into a fight with them, I think they would kick my ass.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. Well, the Mecha dude. That's what we used to call
exactly.
the Mecha guy.
the Mecha veteranos. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we have to go to commercial break, but we have a couple more segments with Marvin here, so you don't want to turn that dial. This is Real Talk on Forge 103.9, a new sound. Forge 103.9, a new sound. We are back with Marvin Lemus, who is the co-writer of Gentefied on Netflix, which the season 2 just debuted last week. And, it's just so great to be able to come in and talk about everything from your life to kind of the show. But we
just don't have enough time, Bob.
We don't. We
just don't have enough. I could talk to this guy.
I'll stop talking. I'll stop talking so much, you guys.
No.
We're gonna have him back. We gotta have him back in the future.
They hear us too much. Hey, season 2. So there's so much we want to talk about, but I guess just one of the things that I want to ask you is like, when did you find out that you were going to get a season 2, and what like that's usually a big deal when they're like, hey, we want you to do number 2 here because number 1 went so well.
Yo, I'm blanking. Okay, so it was wild. It was wild time because we came out. The season 1 dropped like 2 or 3 weeks before lockdown, before the pandemic was officially called the pandemic. So like it was like 2 weeks of like, oh, we're on top of the world. We just released a dope show. We're in the top 10. And if you don't remember, the top 10 feature was brand new. It started the Monday. The top 10 feature started the Monday after we dropped. We dropped on a Friday, and then the next Monday I woke up and I'm like, what's this top 10 thing? And we were in it, and I was like, what is going on? This is so weird. And so we're like feeling ourselves, and then lockdown, and everybody has to stay home. And I don't remember how long. It took a little while because Netflix, like they data crunch, and they have so much data and the numbers, and they run their algorithms and everything. But I remember just getting that call and them just telling us like, yeah, okay, we want to do another season. And we felt very confident that we were going to get another season because we're like, what? Like, it's just doing too well. Like, we have to get another season.
It's top 10. It's top 10, guys.
Yeah, it was in the top 10. We're like, I don't know if you guys meant it, but or knew that this was going to happen, but you released this top 10 feature and we're in it. So we're getting a season 2, right?
There's a good feeling when I was watching it because I would watch all those shows. And when you saw the top 10, you saw Gentefied in the top 10, you're like, well, let me go watch it.
That's why I started watching it.
Yeah,
because it popped up in the top 10.
Yeah, and you just notice the quality, and you can get that feeling when you're a Latino. That's you're hoping for a good Latino representation show, something that's a little bit drama, comedy, a little bit of all the characters you're talking about.
We've had too many bad ones. And
exactly.
And I grew up on Boulevard Nights.
This is the one. And this is the show that's going to happen. And he's from Bakersfield. There you go. Yeah. Whoa, thank you. Yeah,
that's we were trying to fill that void. I mean, we Linda and I are the audience too. Like, I'm legit just trying to make stuff that I would want to watch. Like, that's where I'm working from. It's just like, let me just make something that I would actually want to go home and watch as an audience member, as a Latino, as somebody that's part of this audience that has about all the same things my entire life, or every time that there's something that comes up that's supposed to be for us. That's what we were working from. That's why we wanted to be at Netflix, because we wanted it to be bilingual, like fully bilingual. Because I was like, my grandma does not speak English. Like, she does not speak English, and I have to either I speak to her in Spanish or I'm in English and I'm trying to figure out how to say what I'm saying. Like, it's an interesting dynamic, and I was like, I want that. That's a part of the story. Like, we can't just force this character to speak English. You know, like, those little things matter. So it's been really cool to see how people have received it and to hear that compliment all the time, that like people feel so seen and so represented. It's a really beautiful thing and it feels great. It feels great, and hopefully I keep doing that. Hopefully I don't mess it up.
I'm sure it will. Now, has the show, because Netflix is shown in different countries, is Gentefied showed like all around the world in different languages?
Yeah, it is. It's it's a Netflix produced show. So there's no, like, sometimes, like, if they take something like from a different studio, like WB or another network, like Breaking Bad, for example, like, they don't have to license it. Like, they own it. So they stream it anywhere that Netflix is available. Gentefied's available.
So Japanese people, like Japan, they're watching Gentefied. I mean, because there is a big Cholo culture, so they're probably loving it. Now we can learn more.
I hope so. I've heard that we do really well in Africa. That's a random one that I'm remembering. I was like, random. I was like,
that's cool.
I don't know where the world, eh?
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about Chicano a little bit, because Matt and I here, we're like, man, we got to bring that back. Like, Chicano, that's just a loaded word there, and it's a proud word. Like, do you identify as Chicano, or how do you?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that I've come to over the years that I've realized that just feels right. That feels like it just, I think especially in the OG sense of the term, of the political sense of it, it just feels like I'm like, like, that's my identity. Like, it's especially because I struggled for so long to be able to just like be comfortable being Mexican and Guatemalan American. I always forget to mention that. It's just, anyway, I'm Mexican, Guatemalan American. And so I got to represent for Central America out here. For the Chapines. But Chicano just makes so much more sense. And it's because of that. I'm like Mexican and American and Guatemalan. I'm like, to be able to have like that one identity that just feels like, I'm like, it's like where I'm from. It's not just like where my parents are from, but where I'm from.
What I stand for.
That, and what I stand for, exactly.
And we're rough around the edges.
I love it.
Yeah,
we're rough around the edges.
There's so many different types of Chicanos too, man. There's
4 different in this call.
The Guayabera, who's like kind of slick, but then you have the like Chicano punk rocker. You have the Chicano cholo,
and then
I mean, it's just
but then you also have to bring in the X, because Latinx. When I was talking to Bob, I said Gentefied was one of the first shows to actually start using the term Latinx in the description of the show. So, like a dramedy, a Latinx dramedy, and people would say, well, Latinx. And then there was that big a debate over the use of Latinx and then Chicano started kind of creeping back up. And it's just like, so then it became Chicanx. And personally, I think when Latinx was first introduced, I was, along with a lot of OG Chicanos, we were just kind of like taken aback a little bit. We don't need all that. But you know what? I'm happy with it now. I love it all.
Yeah.
I love the inclusion of it. And you just be yourself, because like you said, you can't put Chicanos and Latinos in a box. We come we come from all over the place.
Yeah, I think it gets such a bad rap. And I mean, now there's the new one that, like, I don't know where, for somebody from Latin America, the experts, Latine, which I was like, oh, I like it. It does sound, it rolls off the tongue easier. Like my grandma can say it, right?
Yeah.
And it's just that. I mean, even Chicano, like I remember, like Lynn and I got to interview Edward James Olmos a few years back, and
does he always talk the way he talks in his movies?
He's like, it was wild to be talking to him. He sounds like him. He sounds like a professor. He's just like, so, and he was telling us about when he was young, and the first, like, he was a part of the generation that was starting to use the term Chicano, and how his parents hated it and like thought it was such a derogatory term. And I was like, oh, like, well, one, holy crap, I'm here with somebody that was like there when they were like first starting to use that term, which is like part of my whole identity now. Yeah. And I was like, oh, and it's the same thing that we're dealing with now, where there's so much resistance we encounter with the word Latinx within the community, which I understand. But at the same time, because I'm like, for myself, I'm like, I'm Latino. Like, I don't necessarily say I am Latinx. Latinx to me is like to just talk about all of us at once. And anywho, it's just like, it just makes me realize the cycles that we go through when we're trying to, as we're, evolving, as like La Gente and the community is evolving and trying to like be better and show up for all of us. I think it's I don't know. So ultimately, I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, for sure. Bob, do we got to pay our bills, or do we have time for some more questions?
We got to pay our bills right now, but when we come back, we're going to have our last segment with Marvin, and we'll definitely get those questions in, Andres. Yeah. If you guys don't know, we have 6 pages of questions, so we're only able to get to the first paragraph. So you don't want to turn that down. This is Real Talk on Forge 103.9, a new sound. Forge 103.9, a new sound. This is Real Talk, and we were talking with Marvin Lemus over the break. And Andres, you wanted to ask him a question, right?
No, there's so many questions I want to ask him, but one of the things that we were talking about before was like filming in Boyle Heights, right? Y'all are tackling some big issues there. Gentrification being, kind of at the very in the name, pretty much, right? And it being very core to the storyline. What was it like filming there? Any pushback? I know that there's some other folks who have been filming there. Community kicked them out. How were y'all able to kind of create that relationship to be accepted and welcomed there?
Yeah, well, Linda and I, it was incredibly important to us. Like, since we did the digital series, like we were just very aware of like the resistance, the organizing in the community, and so like from the beginning, we just like. We connected with a lot of folks in the community just to like, we wanted to do our research. Like for us, it was just like, we wanted to do the story right. Like we wanted to make sure that, yes, it's a Latino story. And it's like, we want like people, Latinos everywhere to feel represented, or just like La Gente to feel represented. Yeah. But we wanted to do right by Boyle Heights, like so hard. And so we talked to so many organizations, so many different activists in the community and business owners. And because we went into it with like, yeah, especially in the first season. I think this season we touch on it, but it's a lot more about Pop and his immigration journey. But basically, we just made a lot of friends, and we did a lot of interviewing, and we did a lot of research. And I think people could just tell that like these fools like are trying really hard to like to do right and to try to tell this story authentically and to touch on every point of view. And I think that's what we were really attempting, because we went in with no judgment and just trying to explore every possible angle and ask a lot of questions, and I think that helped, and it ended up really working out for us in the long run of the community showing up for us.
Yeah. I know some of the criticism is that like, people just use Boyle Heights as a backdrop, right? Or as another prop, to help create a scene. But I didn't get that vibe watching the show. And so I was like, man, this is, like I've kicked it in Boyle Heights a few times because I had some friends who live there, and we'd go visit them. And I was like, this is pretty accurate. I mean, this is their neighborhood. So that was really cool. Yeah, I mean, every time I watch it, I feel a little closer to that community.
Yeah. Did you get any blowback from anybody? Like, was there little protests, or like the Chicano, the woke Chicano groups that are going to be, hey man, we don't want Hollywood coming over here. We don't want, because then people start making pilgrimages over there, right? Like they want to go where Gentefied was filmed.
Right, exactly. I mean, that was our concern, was like, okay, like we the thing I think is like we were very honest with ourselves. It's like we weren't lying to ourselves of like, we knew we are in a lot of ways going to contribute to the problem by making this show. Like that, it's like, even though our hearts are in the right place and we're exploring a lot of these questions and trying, and we have our point of view that we're like, that is in the show for sure, in the DNA of the show. There's still going to be, like, we were going to meetings and people with like, lots of rich white folks, and they'd be like, I can't wait to visit Boyle Heights. I'm like, okay, just visit. Just visit.
Go get your tacos from Guisados and get out of here.
Tacos. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you got to move in.
Yeah.
And
don't like it too much.
So like, exactly. Don't like it too much. But I think that, ultimately, hopefully we ended up doing a pretty good job of at least like, for people that never thought about gentrification or all these issues in class and race and all these, like, I think we did a decent job of being able to like leave people asking the questions and like leave them thinking about it a little bit, that in a way that like, I think especially now in this day and age when people like are so firm and have to be so firm in their beliefs and like can't, and unwavering in them, it's like to be able to just like have a question and to wonder and ponder it, I think is huge, and I think, and I hope that that's what we were able to do. And I know that some of the feedback that we got a lot last season from people was like feeling like they were going into small businesses and they were thinking about what the other side of that transaction so much more in a way that they had never thought about it. They were going into, they were driving down Boyle Heights and seeing mariachis on the corner and thinking about like like their entire like the person that was there, you know. And I think that was the intention.
Yeah, that's great. Look, we could talk about this. I want to do a 180 because we have only a few more minutes with you. I want to know, like, hey, like, what's next for you? Like, do you have anything in the works? And then, like, part two, you're gonna film anything out in Bakersfield? Do you have any Bakersfield projects in mind? Like, is there anything brewing?
I got headshots.
He could be. What would your character be, Bob?
My name's Bob. I don't know.
All right, Marvin. Back to Marvin.
I can see. I can see you do a lot of things. No, so I'm working on a lot of stuff. I have like probably biting off more than I can chew, but I have like a few pilots that I'm attaching. Nothing that I can officially talk about yet, but I'm attached to a few pilots that hopefully, if they go, there'll be shows on networks on your TV sooner than later. But the big thing that I'm working on is my first feature and trying to get my first feature made. And that's like my dream. It's like, I know I've made 2 seasons of a TV show, but I feel like I haven't made it yet because I haven't made a movie. And the movie that I've been writing it for like 4 years now, the whole thing takes place in Bakersfield. And like I have, and the dream and the goal is to be able to shoot the whole thing there. And for people to be able to see like all those Bakersfield jokes, let me show you what I meant. And I think, but I feel like I have like multiple ideas that I would love to. I just like, it's one of those things that I can't get away from. And I think I'd love to do a trilogy, my Bakersfield trilogy. You know, the way that the way that Edgar Wright has the, what's it called, the Cornetto trilogy, like, and it's just because of the freaking ice cream that shows up in all his movies. I'm like, nah, I want to do a Bakersfield trilogy. So.
You know, Marvin, you touched on feeling like you haven't made it yet, right? So, like, from people in Bakersfield, of course, and especially, I bet you, like, longtime friends and all this, they're like, oh, you've made it. You're Hollywood, right? And to you, you're just like, hey, like, PG&E asked me for the bill every single month, just like you guys, right? But can you give some advice to people who kind of want to be in your position, right? Because in Bakersfield, I bet you know this, just like everyone else in this room, there's a lot of creatives, right? And when you look and you turn on the TV screen or you go to your Spotify, right, it seems like a very distant dream to be able to do these creative jobs, right? Of us here in this room, we're very lucky enough to be able to be on these platforms that we are, because again, people like us don't get these chances, right? So, what's kind of like a word of advice, or some type of thing that people can live by to kind of get to the next step, right?
Yeah, I think the biggest piece of advice, and this is like how it worked for me, and this is also continuing the legacy of the Robert Rodriguez kind of method. Yeah. I think now, especially more than ever, like it is so easy to be able to create whatever music or film or photography, whatever it is. Like it's so much easier because, so the phones that we have so much power, and so much, the technology is just has made it so easy, and like the barrier to entry is just so much lower than it's ever been, right? Yeah. And so for me, the biggest piece of advice and the way that I did it was that I shot, like, I remember the year after I graduated, I was freaking out, like, because my thesis film didn't get into any film festivals. And I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to become a filmmaker? Like, how am I going to do this? And so I just like committed to shooting a short film every weekend. And I ended up shooting more short films in the first year after I graduated film school than the entire time I was in film school. And that led to like, doing sketch comedy and doing all these other things, but I was constantly shooting. And I realized that like, it became, and I was doing with budgets of like, I had $20. I could buy a pizza for my friends to be able to help me with this. Like, to like, I remember when I was like, oh my God, I spent $150. I felt so balling because I spent $150 on a short. And it's just like the method, the thing that I realized is like, you need to be the moving train. Like you need to be the moving train that everybody else wants to hop on, because especially if you're in a place like LA, everybody out here wants to do it and they're talking about it and planning it. And you need to move yourself from the big, huge pool of people that are talking about doing something, and you need to move yourself into the much smaller pool that is still sizable, but the much smaller pool of people that are doing it. And even if it's not with a lot of money, but now you're in a much smaller pool of people that are just doing it. And when you're the person that's constantly just doing it and you're not waiting for permission from anybody, and you're that moving train, everybody else like starts to be like, yo, that guy's just going. He's not waiting for anybody. And now they want to hop on. They want to figure out, like, how do I help this guy? How do I be there? How do I show up? How can I be around in this fool's orbit? And like, oh, like this guy's doing it. Clearly he's got something figured out. Let me go give him like $1,000 to make this next video. It's just that getting the momentum going and keeping it, I think was the biggest thing that really made a huge difference for me, at least.
Yeah, you mentioned help, right? So there's a famous quote that Chris Tucker said was that when he would break down on the side of the road and wave with his hazard lights on, no one would help him. People would pass by, and it wasn't until he started pushing his own car that people decided to get down and help him get to his destination, right? So that's
a great analogy.
So
yeah.
I definitely agree, right? Sometimes you just have to it may be hard, it may be difficult, you may have sleepless nights, but you have to make it seem like you're working so other people can be like, maybe we should help them.
Marvin is proof, man.
Yep.
Hey, this is
proof, bro.
This is the worst part of the show because this is we get all sad. We have to say goodbye. Oh, we all sentido, like. Yeah. But we'll do a Mexican goodbye. You have to say goodbye to everybody. It's going to take us like 30 minutes to get out of here. So we're going to stretch this goodbye out a little bit.
That's the worst part of the party, right?
Hey, but I'll tell you what, man.
We're going to get todo Hector.
I'll tell you this though. I've learned so much today, and but I'll tell you my favorite part of this entire interview has been hearing you say this fool. I mean, you sound just like all of us here. That's how we talk. Like, hey, what's up, fool?
He'll stop.
That's the best part. I was
man.
like, hey, this is cool. Yeah,
he's a homeboy. You can take him out of Bakersfield, but Bakersfield's never going to leave him.
You can't. No, and I refuse. Like I constantly. I went through a period of time where I was trying my best to like drop all that, and then I was just like, no, the best way for me to like make money is to keep that up.
Yeah, but when you had Felipe Esparza on there, and he's like the king of saying food. Like, what did you guys? Who outfood each other?
No, he's like, I can't. You can't compete with him.
Yeah, dude. That's probably. We'll have to talk about him another time. That'd be a cool dude to talk to. But hey, before we wrap up, is there anything that maybe we didn't talk about, or anything that you just want to say? Kind of, we're open to the floor here.
Oh man. Anything I want to say? Okay. Oh gosh. Hi mom. Hi grandma. Anything I want to say? Gosh, I don't know. What do I want to say to Bakersfield? Bakersfield, I love you. I have nothing.
Hey.
Bakersfield, can we get like a little indie film, like little film festival thing going on? That'd be great. I'd love to go to that.
Ooh,
we're on it. We're on it. There we go, man.
Hey, yeah. Now I know that you attended 2 of the local high schools, correct? Did you jump around?
Yes.
So what are your alumni?
I went to 2. My alumni, the one that I graduated from, I was at the longest was Liberty High School.
Oh,
Liberty.
In Liberty. And then my freshman year, for a while, I went to, because I lived with my grandma at that time, I went to Highland High School. And that's also where my mom graduated from.
Wow. Highland Highland has this thing with like, there's a lot of talents associated with Highland. The guys from Korn, Jonathan Davis and all them, and also Gregory Porter, Grammy Award winning artist who lives back in Bakersfield. He moved back over here. And Gregory Porter.
I didn't know that.
There's somebody else. Yeah. All from Highland.
Matt, I've been around you for so long. I thought you were going to end the joke like, there's so many celebrities, so many great people, even me. I thought you were going to.
I didn't go to Highland.
He's from McFarland.
I'm from McFarland.
He's from McFarland.
More country.
Hey, Marvin, we appreciate the time. We appreciate all the love, man. Keep up the great work. I think you make us all proud here. We know that Hollywood and is in good hands with people like you, and we know that our stories are going to be shared in an accurate way. That's something that we all talk about on a daily basis at lunchtime. Like, damn, they got to start making us look better. They got to start making us look better. And what you do and what Gentefied has done has definitely made us all proud.
Yes.
And we're here to support in any way that we can.
Round of applause for
Thank
Marvin
you so
Lemus
much.
in the house.
Thank you, Marvin.
Appreciate it, guys.
Doing great things.
Well, that's
Thank you,
Forge
guys.
103.9, a new sound. This is Real Talk. Don't turn that dial.